Hey, and welcome to the Multi Passionate Edge live stream. I am your host, Cheryl Pollins, creator of the Iconic Woman Club, creator of Icon Academy, and all the awesome stuff having to do with building and creating an iconic personal brand. So I was like really thinking about what did I want to talk about today. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna talk about what I want to talk about today. I'm going to let you tell me what I'm talking about today. So, what I did was I posted, probably a little bit ago. If you had any questions about personal branding, ask and, either comment here or come to the live stream and ask the question. And so I was like, yeah, I think this is pretty cool. So now you can expect this Ask Cheryl Anything about personal branding episode that'll happen once a month with our live stream. Trying to get some structure around what the live streams look like from week to week. One thing about me, to be very transparent, I have an aversion to doing the same thing over and over and over and over again because I actually get bored with it. So I'm trying to find ways to mitigate this feeling of getting bored. And I thought, let me mix it up. Let me do an Ask Cheryl Anything about personal branding episode. And then next week for our live stream, it'll be the last Wednesday of the month, and we'll do some type of like mini workshop to prepare you for the following month. So now when you come to the live stream, now you can expect something that's going to happen. Still haven't figured out what I'll do the first 2 weeks of the month, but hey, we're making progress. I don't have any newfangled thing about my lips today. I'm wearing the same thing I wore last week, which was this Lancome. The only thing I didn't mention about this lipstick is, um, Lancome is like a one of those like iconic brands from back in the day, back in the day, and I noticed it has more fragrance in the lipsticks than some of the ones that I typically wear, and I actually don't care for that, but I love the color and I love how smooth and satiny it is. So I wore it again today, and so welcome to Ask Cheryl Anything about personal branding. And I have two questions that were asked, and I'm going to pull up the questions so that I can give you my perspective. I'll say that. Give you my perspective. And while I'm doing that, I'm really excited because we have opened up registration for Icon Factor Live, the boardroom experience. We've opened registration for that. You can go to theiconfactor.com. Go to theiconfactor.com, and there you can reserve your space. Now, this is a boardroom style event. It's very intentional. There are only 12 seats. We only made 12 seats available, and I believe seven of those seats remain. There are five seats gone, seven remain. It's not until November, so I highly recommend that you reserve your seat since it's such limited seating. This is not hyperbole. This is not marketing hype. There are 12 seats in the room. And if push comes to shove and I need to increase or something, it'll only be by one or two. So this is not a large scale event. This is an intimate event, very intentional about creating this intimacy and so that transformation can take place. So go to theiconfactor.com. All right, welcome to the live stream. And so we're going to do Ask Cheryl Anything about personal branding today. And so let's pull up the questions. Actually, two questions. And these are really great questions. So the first question came in from Cheryl Randolph. It came in from Cheryl Randolph. And Cheryl's question is, what's the best way to build your audience when you've been in business for years? If no audience, followers, or clients built yet. So she's asking, what's the best way to build your audience? And I think if I can cut right straight to it, what Cheryl is most likely asking, how do I get clients? How do I get clients? Right. And ultimately, it's, how do I get clients in order to generate income? Now, this question, there are multiple, I think there are multiple pieces to this question. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna break it down because the first part of the question is, what's the best way to build your audience, right? Now, this this can vary. The best way to build your audience can vary. And I'm going to start from the beginning because this is the place where when people are building their brand, building their business, creating their brands, all their personal brand, all when they're doing this, they skip over a vital part to this. I'm telling you, if you skip over this, you will struggle. You're going to struggle. And what they skip over is research. They skip over actually doing the research to find out even who their ideal client is and who they should be in front of. How do you know how to build your audience if you have no idea who they are, what they want, what they desire, what are their goals, what are their aspirations? So then you have no idea of what type of content to create, how to address their dreams, their goals, desires, their aspirations, the challenges surrounding that, and what your solution is. I'm, t- I'm telling you, a lot of people skip over this. So while you want to build the audience, you don't know what audience to build because you don't know where your people are because you don't know who your people are, right? So, what's the best way to build the audience? The best way to build your audience, first and foremost, is to know who your audience is. Who's your message for? And do not say everybody. We love saying our message is for everybody, or what we have is for everybody. And while there might be some validity to that, while what you are presenting might be for everyone, the way is it's presented, it's not going to be for everyone, right? So, my brand, my vibe, the way I show up, it is not for everybody. Everybody's not interested in red lipstick and traveling the world and having a luxury experiences. And everybody's not interested in building a high value premium brand. Everybody's not interested in that. So I know I'm talking to a select group of women. I'm talking to women with certain desires, with certain aspirations, with certain goals, with certain income levels. I'm talking to her. I'm talking to a multi passionate woman. That's who I'm talking to. So if you can't answer the question of who you're talking to, then you're going to be challenged in terms of building your audience. You're going to be challenged in terms of knowing where to show up, what kind of content to offer, how to tie their how to tie your content with their desires, with their dreams, with their aspirations. I'm not sure if so let me say this. And I'm not going to say I'm not sure. Let me dial it back. What I will say is you have to do some work around this. You have to do work around this. You have to be very intimate. This is not fluff. This is not hype. This is not this is where the work really begins. This is where you have to sit down, right? You have to really get clear on your own message. Then who's the message for? So, what could this look like? Let me give you something. Let me give you some practical ways that you could do this. Because I know a lot of times people, we tell you how, we tell you what, but we don't tell you how. Okay. I'm going to give you a little sight into how. Some people are like, no, you got to pay me for the how. Listen, even if I tell you the how, you trying to implement it, you're still going to have questions. So I don't gatekeep like that. Okay. So let me tell you some practical ways that you could do this in terms of getting in front of the right people to build your audience. One, like I said, you have to get clear on your message. You really got to get clear. People have to know that you are the go-to person for X, Y, Z. People have to know that, right? And if you're not clear about that, then yes, you're going to have trouble building an audience. So one, get clear on your message, okay? The second thing you want to do is understand your audience. I tell people, understand your audience in ways that you never even thought you needed to know them. I study luxury brands for that reason alone. Luxury, in particular, ultra luxury brands, they know their buyer inside out. They know their buyer. What do they know? They know their buyer's desires, their aspirations. They know what motivates them to buy. They know why. So Rolls-Royce knows why someone is going to come and order a $375,000 vehicle. They know why. And they're going to speak to that by creating a product, a vehicle that's going to ping on all of those aspirations. Now, this is a sidebar, and you've probably heard me say this before. I do not lead with a problem. I just don't. I don't lead with addressing a pain point. People don't really want to be reminded of their pain point. They really don't. So a lot of times they tune a deaf ear. I'm not saying all the time, okay? But I looked at myself and said, what motivates me to buy? Desire. Desire motivates me to buy, right? I want it. Oh, I want that so bad. Oh, I just want it. Then dropping into why do I want it, right? Because it makes me feel successful. It just, whatever my reasons are, right? Now, here comes the problem. The problem is I can't see my way to to fulfilling that desire. That's where the problem comes in. I want to I want to take a 30-day Mediterranean cruise, right? This is an example. I want to take a actually I'm not sure if I really do, but I'll take a 30-day Mediterranean cruise. What stands between me today and me being able to get on that cruise, to take that cruise, to fulfill that desire? That's where the pain is. That's where the rub is. And if you don't understand your ideal client on multiple layers, not just knowing what their problem is, okay? I know every marketer in the world tells you, find the pain point. Yes, but before you drop into the pain, understand their desire. Because when you understand their desire, you can speak to the desire. You can speak to what motivates them, what inspires them. You can dream with them. You can paint a picture for them. What would life look like if you were able to live your truest desires? Then the question becomes, what's standing in the way? What's standing in the way between you living that desire and where you are now? And that's where your solution comes in. But if you don't understand your ideal client on multiple levels, what's their desire, their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, then drop into, okay, what's the pain of why they're not there? Then you're like, okay, I have a way to make it happen for you that you can make it happen for yourself. That's 3 layers. And we haven't even gotten to the actual like doing the work and then implementing and executing, right? There are these multiple layers. You need to understand your ideal client radically, like really, really dig in. You're like, okay, Cheryl, I hear you. I hear you. I wrote it down. I wrote it in my notes. I do this. I do this. I do this. I do this. How do I still know what those aspirations are? How do I know what those goals are? I'm going to tell you how you know. I'm going to tell you how to do this, okay? And this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we separate the wheat from the tare, if you will, right? From the people that are going to actually do the work and get results, and the people are just going to take notes. This is going to be the difference between people who gather information, right? And people who actually do implementation. So I'm going to give you something to implement. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to set up a way for people to schedule a complimentary get to know you call. I don't care what you call it. Okay? Discovery, whatever. I don't care what you call it. Just don't call it free coaching. Okay? We're not doing that. We're not setting that up. Okay? All right. Even if it's you know what, I just want to do a survey call. I don't, you could do this multiple ways. You could definitely do it as a survey. You could definitely do it as a survey if you want to, but we know people a lot of times don't respond to surveys. You can do it as a poll on social media. I'm giving you multiple ways that you can address this. You could do all 3 ways I'm going to give you if you want to. Actually, I'm going to give you 4 ways. So what did I say? The first way is you could set up a poll on social media, right? You could set up like a survey monkey or something like that and send it out to people. You could do that, especially if you already have an email list. You could do that. You can send emails and invite people to get on a phone call with you. Okay. And it's a brief phone call where you're actually going to do some research. You're going to ask questions. All right. The fourth way you could do it is you can send an email to your email list or women that you think would be able to give you good feedback. You could just send them an email and ask them to answer the questions. You could pick any of those ways, and all of those ways are free, right? This is the information gathering stage where you get to learn about the people that are in your community. You can just start there. People that are in your community, right? Ask them, use any of those ways to ask them questions so you can start to gather data. We skip over gathering the data. And because of that, it drags us out for years because we are hitting and missing. We are throwing spaghetti to see what sticks. We are trying this and trying that. Now listen, I'm not saying that you still aren't going to try this and try that and try this. I've been doing this for 13 years, and I promise you, I spent most of those years trying this and trying that because a lot of that time was my own self-discovery. And I'm going to actually talk about that because the second question that I received today has a bit to do with that. So I know that was a long way to answer your question. I know that was a long way. And oops, sorry, guys. Stop talking. Cheryl, stop talking. I was trying to pull up the question, and I pulled up the Incorrect. There we go. Okay. So I just want to make sure that I hit on the question properly. What's the best way to build your audience when you've been in business for years if no audience follows or clients it? So again, before you even get into the building of your audience, you have to understand them first. And I think I gave you enough. Oh, awesome, Cheryl. Great, great, great. I think I gave you enough and I gave you an assignment that you can implement. And this is for anybody that has this question. You can implement this today, not tomorrow, not next week, not the beginning of September, not all the different things. No, you can implement this today. That implementation could be as simple as doing a Facebook post. That implementation could be as simple as sending text message out to, 10 people that, I mean, there's just so many different ways you could do this, and you can do it very, very quickly. All right. So that's the answer to the first question. Now, the second question. The second question came from Chayezda. And Chayezda asked this question: how does one effectively communicate their personal brand through what feels like, I love this question, through what feels like a constant state of evolution? I'm banging my desk. This is an amazing question. I'm going to read the question again because this question is so real, it's relevant, and it needs to be asked. It says, how does one effectively communicate their personal brand through what feels like a constant state of evolution? Okay, so here's the first thing. We are in a constant state of evolution. We're evolving. We are living, breathing organisms. We are living every day. We're evolving. That's the truth. And I think for us, we have to embrace that truth and move from there, move from that space. And I think embracing that as a truth gives you the freedom, right? Gives you the freedom to actually evolve your personal brand and still effectively communicate who you are in any moment. Right? So let me kind of guide you through what this looks like. So I mentioned earlier, I've been in the entrepreneurial space for 13 years. Okay. I came into the entrepreneurial space directly out of corporate America. I had no aspirations, none, zero, nada, zilch, no aspirations for being an entrepreneur. It was far-fetched, it was foreign, and actually it was downright silly to me because I came from this school of, no, I want to get a paycheck every 2 weeks. I want to know in 2 weeks I'm getting a pay. 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever the frequency is. I want to know that somebody gonna pay me for what I've been doing, right? And that's the school of thought I came from for a very long time. I had this amazing corporate career. I was on this trajectory, and I just couldn't see it any other way until I saw it a different way, right? Well, when I stepped into the entrepreneurial space, I promise you, I had no clue about what that meant. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know anything. I didn't know nothing about my personal brand. I didn't know. And it was a journey that I went on. But one of the things that I did, and I can't say I was intentional about it, I think for me, it's just the way that I'm wired. I brought my audience along with me. As I was growing, evolving, and changing and figuring it out, I was bringing them right along. And a lot of you have been on this journey with me since I started. A lot of you have been on this journey with me. A lot of you have seen the evolution of Cheryl. You've seen me go from Cheryl, like I'm totally not knowing what I'm doing at all, to being a life coach, to even before that, to launching a magazine. Let's go back there. Launching a magazine, starting a publishing company, publishing books. I was a book publisher for a while. One of my clients was Beverly Green, Snoop Dogg's mom. Bless her heart, she has passed on, but she was one of my publishing clients. I went from publishing to being a life coach and going, no, I'm not doing life coaching every day, to just this evolution of not just the business, but of myself. Starting off starting off by offering coaching sessions, not, yeah, paying me $97 a month, and I'll coach you, once, I think it was one session a month. I think I'll coach you for like one session a month for $97, each month. From that to, I don't even do, that's not even my model anymore. And actually I just changed my model to, I'm only doing in person or virtual, but preferably in person, 1 day or 2 day intensives, right? That's it for one-on-one. So that's been an evolution. And everywhere along the way, I've just said, you know what, this isn't working, or, the discovery of myself, who I am, how I want to show up in the world, doing the mindset. Oh God, there's an enormous amount of mindset work that you have to do, right? So when Shiasa says, how do you effectively communicate your personal brand through what feels like a constant state of evolution? How you effectively communicate is to be authentic and as transparent as you feel you want to be. Be okay with saying, you know what, this is a journey. I always call it, it's a journey. This is an evolution. This is an evolving of you as an amazing woman, of you are in this constant education about who you are. People will absolutely love the transparency, the vulnerability. They will love seeing that you're human. And while it might sound weird, because of course, obviously, we're all human, but we know that when you see people in certain spaces, they look bigger than life. And sometimes you forget, it happens in church, people with their pastors, you forget these folks are human. They're still human. They're still having their own human experience, right? So people love seeing. I saw somebody commented the other day. Somebody had posted about something. I can't even remember what it was. And somebody literally commented and said, I love seeing that you're human. Well, we're all human, but that's how people think. There's this separation between the people that are living the dream and doing the darn thing and being highly visible and all that. There's some separation between them and the people that are still trying to figure it out and feel like they can only figure it out in the dark or figure it out behind closed doors. And then there's some of us, we're just figuring it out along the way, right? And I think the communication really isn't that you have it all together and that your personal brand is all tied neatly in a bow. I think what you communicate is that the journey is messy. The evolution is an adventure. That it's this windy road from where you are to where you want to be. It's not a straight path. It's not all methodical and lined up. Now, because I am a very methodical person, I I have a tendency to think very like right? I learned that about myself. And as a result, I had to go, okay, well, everything is not going to fit that. Everything is not going to be that methodical. Some things are going to be messy. They're going to be, they're going to be, oh, I went here. Oh no, I need to go back and I need to go that way. Oh no, I need to go. Some of it is going to be just like that. And I think there's freedom. I think there's so much freedom in you being able to say, this is the journey and this is how it looks, right? It's not linear. It's not a straight line from A to Z. It's messy, right? It's adventurous. You might hit some potholes along the way. You might have to make a full blown detour. It might take you a little longer, but you get there. But you only get there if you don't quit. You only get there if you don't give up. You only get there if you stay the course. Yep. You might have to pull off to the side of the road. Yep. You might have to make a rest area stop. Some of you know that my dear friend, my fabulous friend, it's I call her my sister because we're like sisters, really. Daff. She and I went from Maryland to Arizona, 2,000 miles. That was a journey. But along the way, we stopped. We stopped in rest areas. We stopped and did things. We stopped and ate. We stopped and took photos. We just, along the way, right? But we didn't stop. Imagine if we had gotten to Missouri and just stopped. We wouldn't have never got to where we were going. We wouldn't have gotten to the final destination. We wouldn't have gotten to Arizona. So you have to look at your journey, look at your evolution that way, and embrace the freedom to bring people along. Embrace the freedom to say, you know what, I'm working on my personal brand and it's an incredible journey. And part of that journey is I might not even know what I'm doing. Part of that journey is I'm trying to figure it out. Part of that journey is I figured it out and that no longer serves me. Part of that journey says, I may have to make some shifts and adjustments and changes for where I'm going, because where I'm going, everything and everyone can't go. Right? So you get to how do I want to say? You get to create and define what that journey looks like, and that evolution, and you get to create and decide even how it's communicated, because we are ever evolving. We're ever evolving. And here's the thing, the more layers you pull back and discover who you are, the more layers you pull back in your own self discovery, honey, you're always going to be communicating some type of shift or change around your personal brand, because you are ever evolving. And if you are in a place of true self discovery, you're going to discover things about yourself. You've got to find a way to get to the core of the truth of who you are. Because if you've heard me talk before, you've heard me talk about this idea of how conditioned we are And in that conditioning, we've lost the truth of who we are. It's no longer in sight. We no longer feel it. We no longer sense it. We no longer even know. We don't even know, like, well, who am I for real? Until you start to, kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I was like, decondition. That's not the word I want. But until you really start to do that self discovery and you start to peel back all those layers, and I'm not saying it has to all be done in public. I am not saying that at all. But I do believe in bringing people along for the journey. I do believe in the freedom of saying, you know what? I am an ever evolving, ever changing individual because I want to explore getting to the truth of who I am. And here's the thing, once you get to the core of the truth of who you are, your entire life shifts and changes. It shifts and changes. The way you think, the way you see yourself, the way you express yourself, the way you show up, the way you engage, the way you handle things, everything shifts and changes. And then you find yourself in what I like to call, and I've adopted this word over the last month or so while I'm working on this boardroom experience. You wind up in what I call a new era. A new era. People say next level. People say, next level, next level. No, it's a whole new era that you step into when you've done this work of self discovery. You emerge from a place that you no longer in and that you no longer want to be in. And you emerge into this new era because you are it's you are so in tune with who you are and what you desire and how you want to show up in the world and how you want to serve and what you really want. One of the most challenging questions I asked women, I didn't know it was a challenging question until I started watching the pattern. When I asked them, what do you want? And their answer, 90% of the time, if not more, the answer is, I don't know. We'll save that discussion for another day. So, Shayesta, hopefully I answered your question. Um, and the question, I will repeat the question. And it says, how does one effectively communicate their personal brand through what feels like a constant state of evolution? And basically my answer was, um, you communicate, you give yourself the freedom to communicate that you're on a journey, and that no one has to have the expectation that you got it all together. No one has to, and you don't have to feel as if you have to show up like you've got it all together. That you can bring people along on the journey and show them what it looks like to evolve into the fullest expression of who you were created to be. And she says, I'm changing, but how will those changes positively or negatively affect my audience? So, positively or negatively affect my audience. The positive way is a lot of what I've already said. They're going to see you in your evolution. They're going to, and a lot of them are going to be inspired by it, empowered by it. So they're like, wow, look at her. She's evolving. Negatively affect your audience. Truth is, some people won't like it. Who does she think she is? What she thinks she trying to do? I'm just being how people can be. You know how people be peopling. That's what this. Who she thinks she is? What she thinks she doing? Oh, she thinks she all that now. I remember when okay. So some of it is going to be, but you know what? Again, I want to bring it back to you. People are going to respond however they respond. This is your journey. This is your evolution. This is your path. This is your discovery. And your discovery is, and she has it here. She has it. She has it here. Here she says, I want peace, stability, freedom, and the ability to pursue my highest self, all in love. That is one powerful statement. That's a powerful statement. She wants peace, stability, freedom, and the ability to pursue my highest self, all in love. And I think you give yourself the freedom to do that. You give yourself the freedom to have peace, stability, freedom, and the ability to pursue your highest self, all in love. You give yourself the permission to do that. And you also give yourself the permission to do it in the way that you want to do it. If you want to do it so that it inspires others and empowers others, and you do it front facing, do it. If you decide, I want to do it, in my own space, in my own way, and then just emerge from that, be like a butterfly, go into the cocoon, do all the things, and then emerge from there. And people will be like, whoa, what happened to her? Then give yourself the freedom to do that as well. You get to decide, you get to determine what that journey looks like, what that evolution looks like, regardless of whether people are going to have a positive um, perspective on it or negative perspective on it. It's their perspective, but their perspective should not impact how you decide to experience your own evolution. I hope that was helpful for you. And that was good. Oh, that was good. That was good for my soul. Those are two great questions. I'm so glad you guys brought those questions. You ladies brought those questions to today's session. And I like to go through the comments because when I'm in my flow and talking, I see y'all commenting, but I don't like to stop. So awesome. So Cheryl is here, and she had the first question, and I love her transparency. She said, yet oftentimes I've thought the talents and gifts are enough to serve the clients and didn't want to do the work at times. Yeah, because it is work. I mean, the truth of the matter is this journey is work. Figuring out who your ideal clients is and getting in front of them, it really is work, and you really have to do the work on that. And let's see, I see Dr. Roxanne here. Let me see. She said done. I don't know what I was talking about, but she said done. She said done. That's awesome. Good to see you, Dr. Roxanne. Let's see what other comments are here. Cheryl, she says, no, it was awesome. Great. I'm glad you. She said she'll re-listen again. Fantastic. And she got some homework for today. Anybody that's listening to this, make sure you go and listen to the homework that I gave to Cheryl specifically because she asked the question, but it's applicable to anyone in that situation. And Cheryl says, it's been beautiful. And she says, I need to not be afraid to pivot from what was. Oh, yes. I need to not be afraid to pivot from what was to what is. And that's the truth, because remember I said you're evolving. It's a natural evolution. So you are going to have to pivot at times. You're going to have to shift. You're going to have to change. I can't tell you how many times I've shifted and switched and changed and, just really trying to figure out really how I want to show up and how I want to serve. I've been doing this for 13 years. So yeah, and I've changed in 13 years. Imagine being 47 when you start this entrepreneurial journey and you turn 60. Do you know how many different women I've been since then? Just ask my husband how many different women I've been from the time I was 47 until now. Right? So you have to give yourself that grace. You have to give yourself that freedom, but you also have to be open to the journey and doing the work of that journey. Okay. And I know some people are like, well, what does it mean when you say do the work? I'm talking about going inside, discovering who you really are. I'm talking about challenging the beliefs that are in your mindset. I'm talking about looking at reasons why things aren't happening or working or whatever. I'm talking about real self-discovery. People want to jump out and get a logo and they want to get a website and they want to have a photo shoot and they want to do all these things. And they still can't get it to work. Because why would you put a new facade up on an old building? All right, I'm gonna keep going through the comments. Let's see. Yes, freedom in the journey. Yes, yes, yes. Dr. Roxanne says yes. So yeah, so there. Yes, the journey. So there. Yes, the journey. And Cheryl says, love the perspective of the journey. Absolutely. Um, who Queen, please tell me about this. I'm not sure, Cheryl. When you get a chance, comment on this. Queen Matuki Favor Hamilton. Um, Oh, bless your heart. Love the riches of how you share 100% of the riches. Oh God, riches. I keep telling, I've been seeing the word rich for the last incessantly for the last week and a half. So that's very interesting. Yes. Pull back the layers. Pull back the layers in your own self-discovery. Absolutely. And Teresa, hey Teresa, good to see you. Ever evolving. Yes, yes. And Teresa, I've watched you evolve. I watched Teresa evolve over many, many, many years. Teresa was actually one of my I would say she's probably one of my very first clients very early on. Teresa and I worked together, and she was preparing her exit strategy. And I love how she's evolved in her brand. And her brand is about really helping and supporting and teaching people how to be storytellers. And I absolutely, absolutely love it. So I just thought I'd share that. Yes, you got to get to the core of the truth of who you are. And Cheryl says, step into a whole new era once you've done the self-discovery work. And you do, you do, you do, you do. Yes, Shiza says, yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And she said, thank you. Give yourself permission to say that you're on a journey. I'm telling you, it's so freeing because we think we got to have it all together and we show up. It has to be perfect. Listen, I know because I used to be that way. I really used to be that way. Like everything had to be just so, it just had to be perfect, perfect, perfect. And I was like, oh, that's stressful. That's stressful, So let's see. I'm just going through the comments. Yep. And see, Cheryl says so often I feel like I must have it all together. No sense why. You don't have to have it all together. You could be like, you know what, I ain't got it all together. Okay. I'm still trying to figure it out. And, and I love that, my audience, my people, they're on the journey with me and they can see what it looks like when, they can see what it looks like for real, They could see that, you know what? Yeah, I did that for the last 3 months, but I'm gonna tell you that's not really working for me. You know, um, like all the years I've been doing, I've been doing my programs have been 3 months, 6 months. I even had a 9 month, and now I'm like, that's not. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to have the I want to have such a concentrated impact that I want to bring my clients into a room, into a space of transformation where we can map out a strategy for their personal brand that they're going to implement, and it's going to catapult them in less time. That's where I am now. I'm in my own new era. I want to bring people into a room, into a space. I know it's a lot of stuff happening online. I believe that my impact and my ability to help women, multifaceted women, transform quicker if I'm in the room with them. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Who else? Thank you for this, Shayez. I appreciate you. She says, Cheryl, you've always spoken directly to my soul. Thank you. You are welcome. You are absolutely, absolutely welcome. Wow. That blessed me. I just want you to know that, Shayez, that blessed me. Awesome, 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 awesome. Oh, you were tagging. Okay, Cheryl was tagging someone. Okay, that you were sharing it with. Okay, okay, okay. I was like, wait, who? Great. And Teresa says, "Will always be grateful for all you poured and continue to pour into me." Man, that really that blessed my soul. It blesses my soul because sometimes in this journey, you don't really know the people that you had an impact on if they never come back and say it. And a lot of times people don't come back and say it, but that shouldn't stop you from doing what you've been called to do. But I'm telling you, it blesses you when people come back and acknowledge and say, you made a contribution to where I am now. So thank you for that, Teresa. I appreciate it. All right. Wow. So thank you so much for joining me today. Today was Ask Cheryl Anything About Personal Branding. And so thank you to Cheryl. Thank you to Shayezda for asking those two questions. And I really didn't think that I was going to talk that much, but I should know better. I should know better. So next week's live stream is going to be, I'm going to do like a mini workshop. It's going to be the last Wednesday of the month is going to be Workshop Wednesdays for our live stream. And if there's something you want to suggest as a mini workshop, let me know in the comments, and I'll take it under advisement. In the meantime, have an amazing rest of your week. And I definitely look forward to our time next week. Make sure you go to iconicwoman.club, iconicwomanclub.com. Go to iconicwoman.club.com, iconicwomanclub.com, and join the Iconic Woman Club community. I sent out our first newsletter. I was so excited. I sent it out over the weekend. The next one comes out this coming Saturday. Be sure you put your name on it. I'm not going to tell you the name of it. Ha ha ha. You have to join the club to find out. So let's see. Shauna. Oh, let's clap it up for Shauna. She says it's her first time watching. I am Shauna from Guyana, South America. Yes, Shauna. Thank you so much for watching and for joining us. I appreciate your presence. Please, please, please stay connected. Go to iconicwomanclub.com so you could be included in the community. I go live here each Wednesday around 12 noon-ish Eastern time, and we talk about anything having to do with personal brand mastery, mindset, and your money. So until next time, I'll see you next week. Bye.